Well, hello. Good morning. Okay, here we are. Thank you for joining us this morning and being at First Unitarian Society with us. This morning I'm joined by our Chalice Choir, and we're going to be singing a couple pieces for you today. The first number we're going to do is by a local composer named Abby Bettinas, who wrote a piece called Resilience. It's from a collection called the Justice Choir Songbook, which was a free resource that's used across the country by churches and community singing groups. That is music for social justice. It's all Creative Commons, which means that all the music can be used for free by anyone. So it's a really neat collection, and a lot of local composers here helped on that one. So we're beginning with that one, and then we're going to invite you all to do some singing today. We're going to do a Lee Morris piece, who is a composer who specializes in congregational group singing. So that's coming at you. Watch out. We're going to ask you to sing 2 times, once as a round and another time as kind of a looping thing. So that's coming up. And then in the middle, I'm going to play a piano solo by Billy Strayhorn, who's one of my musical heroes. He was a composer about 100 years ago who wrote a lot for Duke Ellington's band, and actually some of Duke Ellington's most famous compositions were wrongly attributed to Duke Ellington, but they were really written by Billy Strayhorn, and now everybody knows that. But Take the A Train and Lush Life and many, many others. But I'll be playing a piece called Chelsea Bridge, which I just think is a lovely tune. And then we're going to end out with a piece by a contemporary African-American composer named Rollo Dilworth, who does kind of a lot of contemporary gospel music for choirs, and the text is a poem by Dr. Maya Angelou, which I thought was really fitting. And I just was going to read that quickly, and then we'll get to the music making. So this is words of Maya Angelou from her collection, Rainbow in the Cloud. The onus is upon us all to work to improve the human condition. Perform good deeds, for that is truly the way to battle the forces of entropy that are at work in the world. The composite of all our efforts can have an effect. Good done anywhere is good done everywhere. When we unite in purpose, we are greater than the sum of our parts. Resilience. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Resilience, we are strong, shoulder to shoulder, keep moving on. Resilience, make a new plan, stand up again and say, yes we can. Resilience, we are strong, shoulder to shoulder, keep moving on. Resilience, make a new plan, stand up again and say, yes we can. Resilience, oh, we are strong, shoulder to shoulder, keep moving on. Resilience, make a new plan, stand up again and say, yes we can. Resilience, oh, we are strong, shoulder to shoulder, keep moving on. Resilience, make a new plan, stand up again and say, yes we can. Resilience, we are strong, shoulder to shoulder, keep moving on. Resilience, make a new plan, stand up again and say, yes we can. Resilience, we are strong, shoulder to shoulder, keep moving on. Resilience, make a new plan, stand up again and say, yes we can. Resilience.
Well, good morning again, and welcome to First Unitarian Society on this beautifully warming Sunday morning in Minneapolis, Minnesota. A sure sign that the resilient spring will come again. First Unitarian Society is a member congregation of the Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations, and I'm Reverend Jullan Stoneberg, your interim minister. Our programming is on-site live, as you're experiencing now. It's online live, as many others are online with us right now, and of course on demand 24/7. There are a whole bunch of friends online with us right now, joining us from all over the metro area and beyond. And welcome to each of you, whether you're staying warm and safe at home or braced, or it didn't take much bracing to come out this morning, did it? It really, to come out and enjoy this spring-like weather together. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever your dreams and wishes for the year ahead, however you identify, whomever you love, whatever is breaking your heart right now, you are welcome here. And as we gather, we remind ourselves of the need to walk humbly upon this land, the traditional land of the Dakota, Oyate, and in particular the Wapatuka tribe, for whom this place is home. May we live with awareness of and in gratitude for the myriad ways that they have continued to steward this land and reciprocate by caring for the earth and all her creatures. It's again my pleasure to be part of today's assembly, made possible because of the joyful and capable participation of so many, our wonderful staff, of course, and this morning the Chalice Choir and our E-Squared kids and emissaries and many others. Thank you so much. Today is a multi-generational assembly, which we typically do on the last Sunday of the month, but there's always room for families and kids here in the assembly hall, as evidenced by the space near the back of the room. There's also childcare available down the hall to the left as you exit. And as our kids come in to join us, I invite you, wherever you are, including those online who can use the chat to say hello, to take a moment to welcome the morning and each other. Perhaps beginning with those online who those of you in the room can wave to with that camera right there. So please take a moment to greet one another. So I invite you all now to just take a deep breath, to settle into this time and space and center yourselves. Today's opening words were written by Ella Boyer. They're called Right Here, Right Now. As we create and share sacred space together, let us reflect upon what brings us here. We have all come here for different reasons, from different decisions, faced different challenges, and shared different love. And yet all of our differences have led us to this space, right here, right now. Some believe we're here for a greater purpose. Others hold fast to a claim of complete coincidence. Others still lie somewhere in between. There are so many barriers and differences between each individual, it would seem at times as though the odds were stacked against us, becoming one whole. As we believe different things, live and experience different things, and value and hate different things. We are the children of God or no God, the children of the earth or fully grown adults here as a piece of the ongoing cycles of the universe, children of the stars. We all have different definitions and explanations to who or what or why we are here. And perhaps we are all right. Our revelation is not sealed. Despite all that is different, there's one thing that's certainly the same. Somehow, we are all here right now. We are growing and changing and discovering all here, all together, sharing the same sacred space we have shared for years, throughout generations, constantly evolving, constantly changing. Let us continue. Let us change and fight together. Let us adapt together. Let us grow together. Let us simply be together right here, right now. Everett is coming to light our chalice flame, and those of you at home are encouraged to light a candle along with us. We're going to light our flames with words that I found on the UUA's worship web. Please join me in reading what's on the screen. Yesterday, our distant ancestors gathered around a flame to share their stories and find comfort. Tomorrow, our descendants will gather round a flame, talking of a life we will never know. But today, it is we who gather here around this flame, seeking, believing, and being together. Thank you, Everett. Our chalice has been lit. Now let's speak our congregational covenant together. Love is the spirit of this place, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Okay, Mike warned you. Now we're going to sing. I'll let him tell you how it's going to go. They'll do it. It's on. They've got it.
Hello. It was off. Okay. To make some rhythmic accompaniment with. There's lots of choices. There's no wrong answer. Any of those are great options. Okay, so we are going to try something. You are. Okay. Please join in and add your rhythmic element. We are very happy to have you. Okay, so beginning with our baritones. Hey, all are welcome. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and hey, all are welcome here. Hey, all are welcome here. Hey, I am welcome here, and you are welcome here. That's it. You're welcome here. Hey, all are welcome here. Hey, I am welcome here, and you are welcome here. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Let's try the next line. All our starts on a G. 1, 2, tenor line. All are welcome. To hold that for a long time. All are welcome here. Whew. Okay, altos are on a bumpy flat 2. Ready, and 1. All are welcome here. 1, and all are welcome here. One more time. All are welcome here. All are welcome here. All right, and finally, our sopranos. Oh, start on a G for you. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and all are welcome. All are welcome here. Another one we got to hold out for a while. One more time. All are welcome. All are welcome here. Okay, so if one of those grabbed you and you want to jump in, we're going to try to build this up. So this time, we're going to do the same thing, except once the parts are in, they're going to stay in, and we're just going to loop this thing for as long as we can loop it. Not really. for a normal amount of time, a reasonable amount of time. Okay, here we go. So let's start with our baritones. 2 times each section. Oh yeah, let's stand up. That can't hurt. If you feel, yes, if you are. Here we go. So baritones, 1, 2, 3, and all are welcome here. Hey, all are welcome here. Hey, I am welcome here, and you are welcome here. Hey, all are welcome here. Hey, all are welcome here. Hey, I am welcome here, and you tenor. All are welcome again. Comes the alto entrance. 3 and
It's you, Zola.
Good morning, everybody. We'll get this. Okay, there we go. Hi, everybody. Good morning. I'm Zola, and this is. Do you want to guys introduce yourself really quick?
I'm Ren. I'm Simone.
And these are 2 of my E-squared emissaries, my ethical explorers. As you may know, every month we dive into topics related to humanism, universalist Unitarian values, and how we can explore those through the lens of different artists, some that I pick and some that the kids pick. So this month, some of the themes we learned about were inclusion, which you guys talked about up here all month. We also talked about responsibility, which is one of the humanist principles. And we got to learn about some interesting artists. We talked about, the kids got to pick Garfield and the Octonauts for when we learned about making cartoon characters. We learned about making blackout poems inspired by Austin Kleon, and portraits of underrepresented heroes inspired by Kehinde Wiley. And we have some of our learners today, our emissaries, that are going to show you some of the stuff they've worked on. And I'll let them take it away. Want me to hold it up for you? Or you want to hold it? And I can put the mic in front of you. Okay.
So I made some blackout poems, and this one says, fire, damage, or destroy. People die and shut down. Smoke spreads. Warnings. But there will be heroes, and that maybe that like has some responsibility. Maybe we could be heroes or something. Oh no, I'll do this one. So another one I made is called Love. It says, different words, different kinds of love. A mother's love, the the love of one's family, friend love. Single powerful word, love, to express feeling in all its forms. And then dreams. Dreams are soft with a sweet custard cream topped with powdered sugar.
Pretty amazing stuff. And blackout poems are basically when you're taking a newspaper or magazine article, you cover certain words you want to hide and leave the words that you want to use to make the sentences. And here we have Simone, who is going to show you a cartoon character that we worked on during our week about Garfield and the Octonauts. Here, do you want me to hold? Here, you hold them. Hold it right up close to your mouth, and I'll hold this still.
I'm not really sure who this is, but it's someone.
What did you use to make it?
I use colored pencils to make this drawing because you can draw with them light and dark.
Good job. Well, thank you so much to my E-squared emissaries. As always, I encourage you guys to ask kids and families about what they're learning downstairs. And we have our art gallery always on the other side of this brick wall you see in the breezeway. Right now it's showing work from last month, and today's your last chance to see it before I switch it to show everything we've been working on this month. Thank you all so much.
Good morning. First Unitarian Society is a congregational humanist community. We are here for each other, our neighbors, and our planet, and our one manifestation of that is our caring team. If at any time there's something happening in your life that you'd like to share with our team or with this community, please send a note to joysandconcerns@firstunitarian.org. You can also do this using the contact form on our website. After the assembly, you're invited to stop by the card basket downstairs to send a note to folks who are unable to attend assembly or people we mentioned in Joys and Concerns. This morning, I share that a celebration of the life of Don Asp, who died peacefully on January 31st, will be held here Saturday, March 22nd at 11 a.m. You can find the full obituary on the Minnesota Star Tribune. Memorials were requested to this congregation, First Unitarian, or the Swedish Institute. Let's take some time to stay in touch with our own humanity and to remember those who are suffering. In particular today, all those who are so greatly impacted by new or proposed laws that would take away basic rights, and those who are being targeted by hate crimes. You're invited in these moments to reflect on all the joys, losses, griefs, and milestones in our lives, in the lives of those we love, and in the lives of beings everywhere. May all be safe, happy, and well. A moment of silence.
I invite you now to sing Spirit of Life as you're willing or able, and we're going to sing it through a second time in Spanish. The words are on the screen. Spirit of life, come unto me, sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion, blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set
Hello again. Yes. We probably don't need it, but it's okay. Yes, thank you so much. So, today we have a couple more E-squared emissaries, one who you've already seen today. I'm going to ask them really quick to reintroduce themselves.
I'm Ren again.
And I'm Misha.
We have a really awesome story today that we think really explores the idea of inclusion, even when we might be quite different. So I'm going to... Do you guys want? Okay. I'm going to go back and sit down, and I'm going to let our E-squared readers take it away. We're actually going to bring the music stand back. We just had to do a fake out. We always have to keep you on your toes, always keep you guessing, keep it interesting. Here we go. All right, take it away. Sorry. Yep.
Right?
Righty and Lefty, A Tale of 2 Feet by Rachel Vale. This is Righty.
This is Lefty.
Righty and Lefty don't always get along so well, but they're stuck with each other because they're 2 feet on one person. Righty is ready to go places.
Lefty is a little cold and would like a few more minutes under the blankets. Lefty's sock has a hole.
Righty says, "Don't worry, it's a very small hole."
I'm practically naked, groans Lefty.
Righty likes every shoe.
Lefty only likes galoshes.
Galoshes? Asked Righty. Galoshes?
Galoshes? All puddle proof, says Lefty.
Good point. Righty agrees.
If they work together, they can do tricks. This is their best trick. Until Lefty gets distracted.
And Righty gets clobbered. Righty goes away, up, and hides.
Lefty is sorry for getting distracted. Lefty taps a bit. Waiting, lonely down, alone on the linoleum. It is no fun to be Lefty without Righty.
When Righty comes back down, Lefty wants to play. But Righty has fallen asleep and needs to be stomped. Outside, Righty and Lefty race. Sometimes Righty wins.
Sometimes Lefty wins. It is always close.
If Righty wins,
Lefty is a sore loser.
but not for very long, Righty kicks a rock to Lefty.
Lefty kicks it back.
This is their favorite game. Righty loves to look at grown-up shoes. There are so many possible options.
Well, Lefty is unconvinced. I'm never wearing shoes, grumbles Lefty. When I grow up, I'm wearing galoshes every day.
You only get one, says Righty. You'll have to wear a galosh. Sometimes Righty imagines taking a beach vacation without Lefty.
They help each other out of their sneakers. You, says Lefty, you stink.
You stink too, says Righty.
I know, says Lefty. We are quite a pair.
They chase each other around. It's always fun until someone gets hurt.
Pow! A boo-boo bunny comes to help. It has no legs and is freezing cold. Lefty does not trust this bunny. Lefty does not like the nail clippers either, or being tickled. Well, maybe a little, but not much.
Or the bath. Just relax and enjoy it, says Righty under the towel.
Oh, moans Lefty, life is a blister.
Righty doesn't want to go to bed yet. Righty thinks it's not fair that just because Lefty is tired and cranky, they should both have to go to bed. Righty hangs down the side, swinging. It's dark. There's nothing to do. Righty's slipper falls off. It's no fun to be Righty without Lefty.
Righty slides under the covers. Lefty is cozy and warm. Righty snuggles up beside Lefty.
Good night, Lefty, says Righty.
Says Lefty dreamily. Galoshes.
So our theme for the month of February has been inclusion. And 2 weeks ago, I opined here about how a community's identity can be determinative of who or what is included. The clearer we are about who we are, the more apparent it is who may feel comfortable in our company and who might not. Now, I expect some of you will remember this old Sesame Street song. We'll see if it comes up on the screen here.
One of these things is not like the others. One of these things doesn't belong. Can you tell which thing is not like the other by the time I finish this song?
Now, it's rather unfortunate for these times that those balloons are blue and red. Those two colors have taken on some pretty specific meanings. So maybe see if you can change that visual in your head, in your mind's eye. Maybe see 3 green balloons and 1 orange balloon. I think that'll make it a little easier to use those colors to illustrate my points. Let's just say that FUS is green. And although there are many different shaped balloons here, some are inflated more than others, some may be bouncier than others and have longer strings, some might be slightly different shades of green, but basically FUS is green. This is your communal identity. You like it, you embrace it, you want to propagate it, creating more and more green balloons in the world. It's a beautiful thing. But sometimes an orange balloon shows up. Oh my God! You green balloons take notice, and I'm sure the orange one is very aware that they're not green. We can come up with all kinds of scenarios for what happens. Some greens may blush a little orange to make the orange one feel more comfortable. Some may inflate themselves to crowd out the orange balloon, or worse, pop its bubble. Some may love what it feels like to experience that breath of orange air. Now, the orange one may wear a mask to fit in, all the while feeling they can't show their orangeness, or blow themselves larger and larger to make their presence known, or conversely, deflate and slink out the door. Mixing green and orange, for those of you who are artists, mixing green and orange doesn't usually result in a pleasing color. You get the point, I think. How do we include difference in a community with an established personality and a culture? And do we even want to? You know, pluralism is the essence of inclusion. That is, to recognize and embrace differing beliefs and worldviews and cultures. Pluralism is what is expressed in the Coexist banner. You know the one. It's out there in many different versions. I especially like the top one shown here from Syracuse Cultural Workers because it explicitly includes Unitarian Universalism. And while it's possible, I suppose, maybe that a group could have a pluralist identity, it's likely very difficult. There's even a story in our history of an experimental Universalist congregation, the Charles Street Meeting House in Boston. It was envisioned by Reverend Kenneth Patton, envisioned to be a place for one religion, for one world, and its sanctuary was decorated with brass symbols from all the world's religions. But that congregation only existed for about a dozen years, from 1949 to 1961. So we can say that Unitarian Universalism values pluralism, but ultimately we do hold a UU or humanist identity as primary. I mean, if all the green balloons say that pluralism is central, then could that identity coexist with a balloon that holds that there's only one true belief? I'm going to use a very specific FUS example here, but really only if you'll agree to hold it at arm's length as a case study to explore, okay? The subject is rather mundane, but like the balloons, I hope it can point to larger and maybe less tangible situations. Imagine that you green balloons have an identity that includes an assembly with particular elements. Good music, great music, an inspiring talk, and announcements that matter, and that neatly fit into a 60-minute package. You know, it's custom, it's convenient, and this timing has been crafted into a particular schedule that includes a mini meal, which involves careful scheduling and planning by those who carefully and lovingly prepare it for you, and also other programming that might come after that mini meal, all while making it possible for each of you to know how to plan your Sunday and how much time you'll spend or limit at FUS. This all makes complete sense, especially if you're a green balloon. But then enter a new minister, an orange balloon. And as ministry unfolds here at FUS, you may well call a yellow or a purple or a fuchsia balloon. I mean, who knows? Of course, in this particular case study, I'm the orange balloon. And upon entering, I had not yet been a part of a congregation where the timing of the assembly or the service has been expected to be so exact. In orange culture and ministerial identity, the elements of the morning are included based on their worth, either contributing to the topic or adding provocative counterpoints or giving space for reflection or providing important information. So while of course some attention had to be paid to timing, it's not a strong consideration. Now I'm going to leave this here because you should know and trust that we're working on this case study together. The kitchen crew is being as accommodating as possible. We're starting after meal programming at 12:15 rather than noon. I'm begging for your announcements to be as brief as possible. And I'm much more aware of how much time I can speak given all else that's happening. But this is a great case study, right? Green balloons value the clock and the mini meal. And this particular orange balloon values crafting a quality assembly for the one time each week that your attention is here on this community and its meaning in your life. We have differing values, if you will. And because of my agreed upon role here, I just can't be the balloon who deflates and slinks out the door. So we kind of have to work it out. And together, including each of you, I know we will, we're getting there, just like righty and lefty. Now, I don't know if this is helpful, but this Venn diagram shows an example of not only coexistence, but of finding the sweet spot among what can be competing values or objectives. Ever since I saw this model, I've loved the idea of looking at purpose or identity through this lens, finding that sweet spot where what we're good at, what we love, and what the world needs meets. And maybe this could be a way to expand a communal sense of identity, knowing that what we're good at can include the gifts of many different colors and balloons, and that what we value or love can be just as inclusive. Maybe inclusion happens when we're able to find that sweet spot of connection. You know, and I pulled that particular image off the web, and so the words could be changed there in those different circles to find where those places are that we overlap. But here's the rub, I think. Sometimes what matters to us, our values, are so important that we can't compromise. And hopefully we're talking about things here more critical than the timing of the assembly. There are places where we have to stand firm and claim who we are, individually and as a community. For racial justice, for reproductive justice, for trans rights, for the planet, for democracy, for putting love at the center. And it's a long list, especially right now. And there are other places where we might well examine if what we're insisting on is important enough to divide us. Last weekend, I attended a workshop on trauma-informed ministry. The workshop was for folks who are, as we say, baby ministers, in formation for ministry, folks in seminary doing internships, etc. And I was there as a chaplain to be available for anyone who needed support in that conversation. So what does it mean to be trauma-informed? It means acknowledging that many, if not all of us, have experienced trauma that has created these hot and tender spots in us. And then using that information to minister to one another with care and awareness of how that trauma can be reactivated and do more harm. And it's a real thing. And it likely doesn't surprise you that this is common in UU settings. Many folks, some of you, are here looking for an antidote, a balm, something to help heal spiritual abuse that you've suffered in other settings. Anyway, in this workshop, in a small group, I shared my experience of witnessing religious trauma as a kind of protection of an identity. And that comment touched a sore spot in one of the attendees. And as the young, the new, often have wise perspectives on things, they carefully explained how closely held an association with religious community can be, how close to the bone it is, because, in part, because of those past experiences, which means that it really hurts when that identity is questioned. It feels like betrayal or being violated or excluded or unseen, and we need to attend to that. We're hurt. We respond with lament. As minister and religious educator Martha Durkee Newman says, our heartbreak points to the presence of a value deeply held, a value that has been violated. We lament because we love. We lament, we react, we hurt when a value we love is violated. And so, though not entirely like an identity being based in a 60-minute assembly, we can lament and protest when a congregational identity grounded in being unlike another is questioned or violated. So I pose to you, and I leave this with you in the interest of making this morning's assembly as timely as possible. How or how much can we be inclusive of difference? I want to believe that the answer is not that we can't be inclusive. I also believe that a community needs to be clear about its identity and what it stands for. How much can green warm up to orange in the interest of finding sweet spots of simpatico and common purpose? I suspect the answer to this is in knowing what is important to hold on and what's important to hold on to and what it is that we can let go of. Because in the words spoken earlier, despite all that is different, there's one thing that is certainly the same. Somehow, we are all right here, right now. So be it. So it'd be great to sing again, and this time we're going to do that round. The words are going to be on the screen, and Mike will help us get into this, and then I'll lead part of it.
Okay, so we are going to be doing this round, and you are invited again to stand as you are willing and able to sing with us here. This is a piece in minor key. This one, I don't know how much drumming it needs, but you know what? I would say try it. Let's see what happens. It's only going to help. So this is Building Bridges. We're going to do the tune together twice. It's kind of a new piece, I think, for some of us. And then we're going to try it in a two-part round. So the middle row, you guys get the fun part of deciding if you're going to sing with this group over here or this group over here. So we'll leave that up to you. But Oh, and if you have the songbook, it is the number 1023 in the teal songbook, so if you want to check out the music. So first, let's do it a couple times all together. Here's how the tune goes. Amos will start it up for us here. I reach out to you, reach out to me, with all our voices and all our visions. Let's make sound. Let's try one more time. Excellent. That's very nice. Thank you. I'm glad you're playing percussion with us. Thank you. Okay, so this side, Revulun is going to get you started, and then after 4 measures, this side we will answer and try it as a 2-part round for a couple times. So Revulun's group will begin here. 1, 2, 3,
It's that time again. I'm Hoyt Dreyer, a member of the transition team and a fairly new member here. One of our team's goals is to bring our congregation's past to light so that we can learn from it and use the tools from our history to shape the future of FUS. After assembly today, the transition team is putting on a history smash in the Chalice Room. All are welcome to attend and participate in a deep dive into a portion of our history and how it relates to the present. History Smash dovetails with interpretive displays now hung on the wall outside the lower assembly hall. This is the first or second of a series of events and displays that will continue throughout the year. Preview coming now. Henry Martin Simmons speaking had grown the society from 1881 with 18 enthusiasts for geology, evolution, and progressive politics to several hundred. Early on, a board of 5 men made the decisions. Samuel Gale and Orlando Merriman alternated chairing the board and mostly financed the astonishing red church building on St. Mary's Place. However, congregation numbers were exploding and a canvas for financial support was introduced in 1901. In 1909, the board enlarged to 9 men. After Simmons' death, we felt uncertain. We had 2 brief ministries. We felt split over U.S. entry into World War I, and for months, we could not produce decisive votes when we heard ministerial candidates sent by the Unitarian offices. Those candidates left for other Unitarian pulpits. Ah, Minnesota Unitarians. Meetings, discussions. One member suggested that only those on record as having contributed $5 in the previous year be allowed to vote. By June of 1916, the Women's Alliance insisted on a decision, and 38 members voted to call John Dietrich of Spokane, Washington. Dietrich had begun in the strict doctrinal Dutch Reformed Church. But after hearing Unitarian Minot Savage speak, Dietrich saw the light. Dietrich's humanist sermons drew crowds, and by 1921, we no longer fit in the 600-seat space of our own church building. Downtown theaters were rented, and Dietrich's sermons, like Simmons' before, were mailed round the Midwest. You'll hear more today during the post-lunch history session. Excuse me? What?
But what about the women? Their
Oh.
achievements were many and vital. Well, since our founding, they raised funds by giving huge chicken luncheons, dinners, and they've been furnishing the building, of course, and paying the minister's salary. That was the big thing about the luncheons and the dinners. Teaching religious education, sewing clothing, and collecting money for war relief in Europe and Russia. They were supporters of our regional something. regional, what'd you get?
Unitarian and Universalist efforts. Since 1899, the women had financed a delivery room for unwed mothers at the obstetrical hospital.
But wait a minute. What about the other things that were going on in the world? All right. Thank you, Martha. This is votes for women, suffrage. They were in the thick of the struggle for women's right to vote, a struggle that had been going on for nearly 100 years. Letter writing, lobbying, protests, and parades. Two of our congregation's women, Maud Conkey Stockwell and Clara Jullan, alternated presidency of the Women's Suffrage Association. Clara happened to be president when the 19th Amendment was passed, and she gets a plaque in the St. Paul Capitol Rotunda today. But Maud Stockwell never let up on her progressive efforts. In fact, none of these women was anything less than tireless. And of course, after the amendment was ratified in Minnesota, they gave a chicken dinner to all of the Minnesota legislators to thank them for the vote. Our women joined the League of Women Voters. They joined Jane Addams' Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. They continued their service work, and now they had one more voice to end child labor, support worker safety, boost education, and more. Out of the kitchen, right? In 1929, when Margaret Sanger spoke at a Women's Alliance meeting, they were inspired to launch the Birth Control League, the forerunner of what is today Planned Parenthood in Minnesota. And so our history goes on. So join us today for our History Smash here at about 12:25, maybe 12:30, right?
Thank you.
Good morning. Martha Hardesty back with a brief this morning reminder that while our number of households who have pledged is increasing, there's still more to come. The Budget Committee really needs this input in order to be able to do its work for the fiscal year 2025. Now you may think, oh, I pledged last year, or sometime in this decade, for sure in this millennium. Sorry, it's just like taxes. You have to file every year. So let's review this green form again. If you recall, or if you've read your handouts and homework, you can pledge so that your amount comes out annually or semi-annually, quarterly, monthly, weekly. You choose what increments you would like. There are also multiple methods for making your pledge. There's a personal check that you could write to the office. You can do an ACH bank transfer if you already have that on file, and if you don't, you can create a new one or update your current information. You can use the Give Now button on the website with a credit or debit or ACH. And if you are in a position to pledge securities or qualified charitable distributions, come to the office and give us a heads up before you work that out. And remember, not everyone gets a tax refund, but everyone does get ongoing benefits from First Unitarian Society. We all profit from the existence of this place. The community, strength, and solace as we face whatever comes our own and collective ways. So please pledge. Also, the weekly basket will now be passed. We take a collection every week during the Sunday assembly. Please give generously and joyfully. You can use the QR code on the screen or any of the methods that we described in terms of the annual pledge. And there was a robin on the tree right outside the building this morning. So.
And now a few important announcements, beginning with one from the board.
Good morning. I'm Heather Martens. I'm chair of your board of trustees. As you know, FUS is on a timeline to search for and call a new minister for the fall of 2026. We are now at the stage where we request nominations for a key component of that search, the ministerial search team. Tomorrow, on Monday, February 24th, members will receive an email with the process, an explanation of the process, and a survey inviting you to reflect on the qualities needed for this role and to name 1 to 3 people you trust to serve on the 7-member team. Keep an eye on your inbox, and thank you for being part of this important process. Thank you.
Yay. So next Sunday, March 2nd, is the second of our Foraging for Our Future conversations, and this month it's about identity. So please plan to join us from 12:15 to 2:15 here in the Upper Assembly Hall next Sunday. There's more information in the Friday update. Also next Sunday at noon, join Zola and help make flower props for the spring equinox celebration. This is happening during the usual community posters for change time. That's on the first Sundays. For the month of March, Ethical Explorers will be led by a Compass teaching artist, Alana Morris, at the usual bat time and bat channel in the Chalice Room at 10:30. We're really excited to welcome Alana, a fellow humanist, to explore identity, global awareness, and trust through dance and movement. Today's mini meal will be an offering of savory cornbread with sausage gravy, or biryani rice and roasted garbanzos, and pumpkin chocolate chip cake. And there are gluten-free and vegan options. If you can contribute to the cost of the meal, you'll find a donation jar or credit card options downstairs. So now, take all these things into your hearts, put them on your calendar, and take a moment to breathe and remember what we've shared today. The Chalice Choir is going to sing for us once more. So now, thank you, Chalice Choir. Let's wrap up our time together by extinguishing our chalice. Please join Everett and me in speaking the words on the screen. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of commitment, or the fire of commitment. All these we carry in our hearts and in our minds until we are together again. Thank you. And we go out into the world with the words of Jean Ricard. We have a calling in this world. We are called to honor diversity, to respect differences with dignity, and to challenge those who would forbid it. We are people of a wide path. Let us be wide in affection and go our way in peace. So now, go out into the world. Be fearless, ask questions, hold on to what is good, be clear about what matters to you. Affirm the freedom to coexist in peace and freedom, and rejoice in the power of the human spirit. Go in peace.